Mastermind, everyone. I would like to apologise now for the unfortunate glasses reflection. I can't seem to do anything about it, so I suppose I will try something different maybe for the next video, or just look at you from this angle. Sorry, I keep looking at the actual screen, not the camera. Okay, so on with the actual subject of the video, which is catching up, really, because I haven't been doing any monthly wrap-ups for, well, a year now. So, yeah, we've got a lot of ground to cover. I actually drew up a bit of a list, don't know if you can see that, of all of these books, and I think I'm going to condense it down so that we do 3 months at a time. Just because that means fewer videos, really. Let us start. I don't know why I'm not looking at you. Anyway, so technically the first book from January, this is going to be the January to March. Yeah. Technically the first one I read, I started in December of last year, but I wasn't really feeling it. So this was Blood and Beauty by Sarah Dunant. It's about the Borgias, which I can't pronounce because I'm not. Oh dear, he knows. I'm not a student of that particular, Italian history. I picked it up because I read actually the manga series, which is also about the Borgias, which is much better. Yeah, I think it is better, because one of the notable things that this is missing, it's alright, but it's notably missing the gay, So it's 500 pages, and yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. So I wasn't very keen to finish it, which is why it took into the next month. So that's the first one. Something else which I've done this year quite a lot is start trilogies, and this is the first trilogy, which I was kind of hassled into by Lucy. She recommends it, and yeah, it's not bad. I think that really the thing for me is, does it have Soldier Boy angst? Yes. Good. That's what I like about this trilogy. I've got the rest of them here, and we'll come across those in some of the next videos. This first one's okay, although there is that bit halfway through where you go, oh no, is she really going to do this with the story? She does. But it does kind of work, so I guess I forgive her for that. Yeah. Moving on quickly. More quickly than last time. Bernard Cornwell Books, The Last Kingdom here. This is the first in his series, and has also recently been made into a BBC drama. There we go. These books are kind of a bit of a guilty pleasure for me, because I did study this period at university. So I know that it's not amazingly accurate, but I kind of love them anyway. So, yeah. If you want some Viking-y, yeah, it's good. After that, we've got The Kite Runner. This is a particularly battered copy. I feel a bit sorry for it. I've been wanting to read this for years. I got it off Bookmooch. It looks like it's been run over by a steamroller at some point. Yeah, it was okay. I imagine most people who have going to read it have read it by this point, because it actually takes me 10 years sometimes to read things. Yeah. Amazing reviews. Sorry, I'm doing amazing reviews. Yes. Another thing which I've been wanting to read for a while, pretty much since the film came out, is Brokeback Mountain, and I acquired the full collection of short stories. Brokeback Mountain itself was quite nice, although I don't know. I don't think short stories are for me. And certainly the rest of the stories in the collection are I'm just not enough of a fan of cowboys and Wyoming, and no, that's definitely not for me, unfortunately. Now, in February, I went on a quick trip to Canterbury, and so of course the obvious thing to read at that point was the Canterbury Tales. I got this copy a while ago, and it's a really beautiful copy that I got second hand in Cambridge. It's I think we all know Canterbury Tales. It's all in. Can you see that? It's all in actual Middle English. It's not a modernised edition. I didn't actually finish it, and in fact I didn't really technically start it in February either. I started it a while ago, but having got back from Canterbury, it ceased to be a particularly topical thing, so I thought, you know what, no one will ever know, I'll just say I finished it. So I do have this much left to read, eventually. Got my boarding card as my page marker. Yeah, I'm sure I'll finish that one day. It is a very good thing. We should all read more of these classical works of interestingness. Oh, my feet are going dead. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, right, I'm something much shorter. Hang on. There we go. I should probably learn to edit these properly, because this is just going to be really terrible. Right. Moving on again, rather swiftly. The next thing that I read is this giant mammoth of The Goldfinch, which, I mean, I've read The Secret History. I quite liked it. I thought, yeah, we'll pick up her next book. And then, Surprise Amsterdam! Obviously I was going to love this book. Yeah, the main story is quite good, and the Surprise Amsterdam is quite good. The ending goes a bit weird, though. Towards the end, the last few pages suddenly comes over all philosophical, which I felt is maybe a bit unnecessary. But anyway, it's one of those things. If it's got Amsterdam in it, I like it. Swiftly moving on to another trilogy, which I started this year, is the Mercedes Lackey series about The Last Herald Mage is the name of the trilogy. It's about Vaniel, who is basically the Prince of Angst, and I kind of love it. I agree that it's maybe not an amazing series that I would recommend to people, but I kind of love it anyway. Vaniel is also gay, canonically, so that's quite an interesting thing for a fantasy series. Quite a rare thing, unfortunately. Yeah. This is definitely a kind of a guilty pleasure, oh, he's so miserable, I love it. Wouldn't recommend it, though, unless you're into that kind of thing. Then I was reading a book which I essentially picked up at random because there was a 2 for £7 deal going on in Tesco, and I wanted one of the other books, and I thought, well, this one looks okay. to go with it to make the deal. It is, where's my screen? Treachery, which is one of those sort of like Tudor detective series. This one is set in Elizabethan times, and it's actually the 4th book in the series. So I should probably read the rest of them too. I quite enjoyed it. It's not my usual thing, but there we go. And I really like the spines. I hope the rest of them have the same spine, where it's just this blank cover and then shiny calligraphy. Yep. That was pretty good. Not my usual thing, pretty good. This next thing is the reason that I was going in on that deal. Because, well, basically because I was told that it was definitely worth £3.50. Although my friend, this was Lucy again, wasn't wildly keen on the John Green part, and I can't say that I was entirely keen on it either. But there we go. I need to try more stuff by David Levithan, I think, really, before I completely give up on these kind of things. But yeah, no more John Green for me, please. And then after that, I kind of cleared the air, as it were, with some classic Christopher Isherwood. This is Mr. Norris Changes Trains. It's one of his novels that's set in Berlin prior to the Second World War, like in the interwar years, specifically in the 30s even. I was getting them because, well, Isherwood is gay, and because and because it's, well, because of the setting, really, for these particular ones. I'm not really sure that it was strictly useful in terms of research, but it was an enjoyable read, which is mostly why you read things. Yep. We've got the other one coming up in a minute, but in between times, because I don't like to read lots of the same things all at once, in between times we have Clariel, which is sort of a prequel to Garth Nix's series set in the Old Kingdom. And the really exciting thing about this is that the title main character is asexual. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, canonically, it's pretty explicit that she is. So this was sort of like going back to stuff that I read whenever the other ones came out, like 10 years ago or something. Good fun. Very much enjoyed doing that. Gonna collapse. I have not stacked them as well as I stacked them before. And then, well, we're nearly at the end of March now, but we've got The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I'm going to controversially say that on the whole, although I have enjoyed reading lots of Neil Gaiman stuff, his more recent stuff like this, I find is getting a bit not so good. A bit, you know. Yeah. Don't enjoy these as much as I enjoyed, say, American Gods, which was really great. But yeah, so, but I guess that's the way of things, isn't it? You know, people go through, as their style changes over time, maybe it changes to something you like to something you don't like so much. On that note, the final book for March was the Berlin novels by Christopher Isherwood. Even Goodbye to Berlin by Christopher Isherwood. I cannot read. This is a problem, as I'm sure you can imagine. Yeah. not unlike the other one. It's set in Berlin in the 30s. They're sort of almost all the same novel, really. Yeah, pretty solid. All good fun. And this summarizes the books that I read up until the end of March. The next lot has an awful lot which are on my Kindle, so I'll just be going. Yeah. If you've read any of these books and have opinions and would prefer maybe not to shout at me for casting some unkind aspersions about Neil Gaiman, then yeah, leave some comments.